Today's subject is, what are the impediments on the way? So, first of all, for the ladies, they should not always be thinking of the men, or learn such like novels, which gives these love-lorn novels, I would say, you see, lusty thoughts. The ladies should not think of the men, and men should not think or learn anything on the books, etc., about the ladies. That, I want to say, dwells thoughts of lust in us. That's one thing. Sometimes when we are going to a master or somebody, those who are on the way, men or women, they go on together for the sake of the master, and they should forget whether they are men or women. All are equal. They should not think of the opposite sex. Then it's all right. But on the way, ABC starts when somebody goes to tell you about the master, you are devoted, naturally attached to him. And further on, when you are always think of the master is left aside, and that man intervenes, whether it is man or woman. Naturally, what is the result? Your devotion is, inner progress is stopped. You are devoted somewhere else. So women should not think or learn read such like books in which the love tales are given, you see. Ladies about the men and men about the ladies. That's the first impediment on the way that you get. It does not mean we should not love anybody. But for the sake of the Master or God, we should love all who go to him. You see, I was just mentioning about one Majnu who was very fond of Lala, his beloved. So one day he saw one dog. He began to kiss his feet, claws, you see. People asked him, why are you doing that? He said, I saw this dog sometimes going in the street of my beloved, you see. For that purpose you may love. But when the purpose of his love is for the sake of the Master, you see. This is one of the impediments, I think, very most effective way in which men are driven away, you see. Their attention is diverted from higher place to lower one. This is one thing. The other thing, if you just always reading about money and earning money and people such and have gone millionaires and this and that, always learning about that or hearing talks about that, naturally you dwell within you the greed. Third, man is known by the society he keeps. Don't have the society someone who are given up to these two things. Because by society, you become that. Those thoughts always be reverberating in your mind. You see? Then after that, you will find, sometimes you think of our enemies. You see, such a man is against us, this and that thing. That always comes in your mind again and again, you think of him. That creates hatred within you. This is the fourth thing which stands in the way, you see. Sometimes for the sake of name and fame, such a man rising in the world, he is becoming known in the world. Why I am not? All the time his own, he may be a devoted man first, but these things one by one come in the way, and our devotion does not bear fruit, distorted, no progress. First, anything with dirty thought or lust in you, that should be avoided. Maybe society, maybe books, novels you are reading, this and that thing. You should avoid such like books or such like society where people are given up to money, women in gold. You see? Their society also will do thoughts like that. And further you got any man who has done anything against you, any wrong to you, well, that will build enmity, hatred within you. It is better to forgive and forget. sometimes for the sake of name and fame, sometimes by acting and posing, I am very scientific, this and that thing. You have to do so many things, you see. These very things stand in the way. If anybody else just serves you or is devoted to you, you see, you have got, for instance, one example I will give, you have got in your bank only 100 rupees, $100. Whoever looks to you with all devotion, you see, he sends in a bill, debit bill against you. Yes, if devotion is diverted from higher to the lower, he has to bear the fruit. He will have return for that, whether you have got the money in your bank or not. You will become bankrupt. Mind that. Those who can give something, they expect something in return. Nobody can give a glass of water without any purpose. If anybody gives you something with sweets and so many things like that, leave aside the question of master, you see, he is selfless worker. But all others, they expect something in return. Whether you want to give it or not, that is debit against you. You follow me now? That is why master say, earn your own money, live on your own earnings, and share with others. There should be a question of give and take. For the selfless work, that's another, for the good of the cause, that's another thing. And for that also you should not want anything in return. That will only become then selfless, not otherwise. If you want something in return, you give something to, for instance, for the good work. You want something in return. So if you share only, contribute, you see, share, with no return in view, then you're safe. So these two things especially, women think of men, men think of the woman. Always learning about that, reading about that, naturally that will lust. They are more attached there than the place where they are attached before. That stands in the way. And about that devotion or whatever we do, that does not bear forth fruit. Sometimes on account of name and fame, competition, we go on thinking always like that. That also creates hatred within us. Sometimes we do acting and posing. We are like that. Really you are not that. You are deceiving your own self, the God in you first, and then deceive others. How long? The cat must be out of the bag, you see. So, thinking of the opposite sex, then when you are devoted to that, don't think of your man or woman. That's only body, you see. You think always of the body, naturally you the opposite sex will you attach. You remember Christ said husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church. Even husbands and wives too, they have one duty of begetting children, not everything, you see. That's only having a companion in the lifelong sojourn, you see. And both of them to reach God. That's their main thing. These are the things stand in the way. One, as I told you, men should not always think, learn not this about you. And ladies should also not learn always here and this has too much attached. If you have to love one another, love for the sake of the master, forgetting yourself. This is one thing. Second thing is if you have got society or someone who is very wealthy, growing rich and rich, you are always having that coming, like you want this thing, I also should have. Greed will do that, you see. And the third thing, the society. Man is known by the society. So society, you see, develops quicker results, you see. Any kind of society you have. And fourth is acting and posing. Fifth is for the name and fame, man competes. So these are the things which stand in the way of your devotion. Naturally, you think of anybody, you develop greed within you. A man who is already getting $100, he will after 200. 200 man will we after $1,000 and $1,000 will go up, you see. Always thinking of the lust, women are gold, that's all. You'll hear somebody quietly. You'll find most of the people talking of women are gold. If you got good companion, have it. Otherwise, remain all alone with your own self, with the Master or the God within you. If you do that way, your devotion or bhakti, even done for a short time, that will give you more, 100 times more results than the other way. Otherwise, the devotion is lost, you see. And one thing more, those who are not believers in God, naturally they develop some doubts within you. So avoid all these things. You get good company, that's all right. If not, live to your own self. Or have company only where you can develop love for your Master of God. These are these things that stand in our way, you see. Whether they are, what we say, representatives or group leaders or anybody, they go, we are reacting both. They want to embossing, naturally that comes. So that is why the result is hatred, no progress. That in due course becomes like a church, imposition, how that like this. Well, Sant Maharaj, you see, teaching us, you must always what you colored through and through with humility and simplicity and love. So yesterday we were talking, what are the things, if we had followed those things, that will bring more results by your devotion. And now what those things are there which are impediments on the way to devotion. These are things explained, you see. Way to follow it. The more you follow, the more progress you will have. Sometimes we are progressing and all at once something does, you are very barren, you feel barren. Why? There is something that interfered in the way. So we have to be very cautious, you see. Think of your God, or the God in man, in all your affairs. Let the needle of your compass be always to the north. You see? Then you are safe. You love one another, everything, for the sake of the Master. If you love for the sake of the man concerned, that will stand in the way of the love of your Master. And love knows what? If you love your Master, love His commandments, keep His commandments. That's all. These are things explained in more detail, so that you may derive benefit, you see, profit, full benefit from your devotion. A short time spent in this way will give you more results. If here and there some impediment comes in the way, then devotion, you do not have progress on the way. तो ये बातें जो रास्ते में रुकावट डालते हैं। यहाँ आने का मतलब एक बात को समझना है और जीवन में धारण करना है। सुन गए ये काफी नहीं, इसलिए मैं कहती हूँ कि जो सुनते हो उसका नोट रखो। आपको वो चीजें मिलेंगी जो सारे वेदों शास्त्रों का सार है, और प्रैक्टिकल हिंट्स मिलेंगे। सुबह का वक्त प्रैक्टिकल है। वी हैव टू लर्न what things are helping in our way, and the practical way. So these things are explained to those who want to progress on the way. In use of general talks, you see, you've got roundabout talks, generally. In detail, we have to give these talks, morning talks. These are practical hints which help us on the way. इस बात को भाई अपने दिल में बांधो और इस पर अमल करो। आपको वो मालूम होगा कि शांति हो, टिकाव होगा, भक्ति बनेगी, दिन दिन बढ़ेगी। मुद्दे हो जाती हम एक रास्ते चलते हुए कहीं, पहले बनता पीछे रह जाता, उसका कारण क्या? यही कारण बीच में पड़ जाते हैं। So we have to be very cautious.